afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy. Thank you for inviting me, Julie, and speaking with you here this afternoon. I have a few slides, but I really intend to make it a little bit interactive to get the coaching topic closer to our own hearts in your own roles as HR leaders. So what is this about? So about a year ago, I think Julie and I met, and in my business we really had a need to improve the coaching skills of our leaders, and that's where we earlier on this year kicked off a program. And without further ado, I'll show you a little video that gives you the introduction of what this program is about and what my organization is saying about it. Over here.
What is going on now? There we go.
I think it's extremely important for Philips, and especially for our business health and wellness, to fully develop a coaching culture. Why? I think talent and personal development is the key driver of business growth. It's also very satisfying from a personal development point of view. And we are, established leaders, but we could always become better, from good to great in terms of being a coach. And in the lean culture, we have to move from being a boss or a manager to become a coach of our teams.
Well, single-part coaching programs are a dime a dozen, but they just don't create sustainable change. Coaching consists of a complicated skill set, and you need to learn it through practice and then review, and then practice and review, etc. We've been able to design a multi-part program that spans 9 months to a year, where the skills learned are applied regularly in the workplace.
We started our health and wellness coaching program with the BGM team members who act as coach, and we identified collectively 24 employees from across 5 sites that are our coaches, and we chose to go for a blended learning approach. So we combine face-to-face as well as virtual sessions. For me, how I approach was a completely new experience. I never had a coach before. What it really helped me to get was an external perspective on my career and my personal development. Really be open for the feedback your coach is going to give you, because it's really going to enrich your personal development. So I grabbed this opportunity and really try to make the most out of it.
So for me as a leader, I really learned to listen. I really learned to feel with the coaching, and the challenge is really how to get to a point where you don't tell anything, but through questions you basically trigger that thought process and get us both basically to a solution.
So the next steps for Philips, and also particularly for health and wellness in this very important area, is that we will cascade, we will all stay in this approach. So investing in yourself is absolutely key, because that will lead to personal growth, professional growth, and will have a positive impact on the business growth. So I really encourage all of you to wholeheartedly embrace this and be a leader in change. So thank you very much for stepping in.
Good. All right. So these were a few of my colleagues in the team to talk about this program. And you may think health and wellness, what is it about? So a real quick context of the business that I'm HR for. Welcome. Basically, health and wellness is 3 different businesses. One well known as Sonicare, internally called Oral Healthcare, which is all about improving the health of your mouth. And there we have global reach, 100 plus, and about 700 million turnover. Mother and Child Care, well known for Philips Avent. Also here, 100 plus markets we are in, about 400 million business, and we're very focused on providing solutions all the way from pregnancy till about 3 years of age. So we say the first 1,000 days of the life of a baby, soothers, bottles, etc., that you may have seen in the stores. And last small kind of startup business is pain management. You may have seen infrared, blue touch types of devices that we use for pains in the back, the legs, the arms, chronic pains. To reduce those, we use those technologies to wear them on your body and improve the lives of people in pain. In total, so 1.2 billion, maybe in terms of people, we have about 1,000 people. And they are all spread across 7 different sites in the world, 2 in the US, 2 in the Netherlands, 1 in the UK, Hong Kong and Shanghai. And they're mostly innovation people, a lot of marketing people, and also people in factories. So you've just heard a little bit about the coaching program, and you heard Egbert van Acht, my CEO, talk about what coaching, why it is, why do we do it. And it's truly a lot about investing in our people. And it starts with investing as leaders, where we saw over the recent 2 years we had done limited things to really invest in those skills. We saw a lot of teaching, mentoring, but we didn't see them really stepping up as coach and really empowering the team members around the world. So that's where we said, hey, let's do something here, and also really in the context of lean leadership. I don't know, hopefully many of you have come across lean and what it is about. For us, it's really important to become a more efficient and effective organization, and that requires lean leaders, and for that you need coaching skills. So we really put it in the context of our lean approach and coaching skills of senior leaders and really developing people in our organization. We started in May. We started to first with our own BGMT members, because they need to role model, they need to become the strongest coaches that you can have. And with them we identified 24 coaches. We put a couple of KPIs. I don't know if NPS says something for you, but it's about the Net Promoter Score. So what is the Net Promoter Score for the program? We moved from 42% a few months ago to 54% now, which is really positive. It means that people talk about it and that people are very positive of being part of it. Whether you're a coach or you're a coachee, that's really a powerful thing to work on. Now, what's in it for us as an MT and as an organization, of course, is to really strengthen the bench. We also saw our key positions. Our pipeline is not strong enough developed. We had a lot of areas where they were either empty or weak, and we said, hey, we need to really more actively, develop them, and that's where we really look at strengthening the bench by using the coaching program to really help develop these people in our organization. So how did we come to select people in our organization? We really looked at the succession plan of our key positions in the business, and we really identified those that are on there and could use and benefit from increased attention from the BGMTs. We nominated them through the respective BGMT members, and we also really ensured that they came across all different functions, whether it was manufacturing, marketing, innovation, quality, finance, HR, you name it, they came from those different functions, so that we really spread it across, and it's really felt as a total business program. Now, this is a bit of an overview of what we worked on with Julie Johnson.
Last question,
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, can go ahead.
Did you mix them up in the sense that people would be coached by somebody from a different function, for instance?
Yes, indeed. Yes, that's what we did. Yeah, to really keep away from the line of the normal line. Yeah.
And did you make the match, or did the coaches and the coaches have a say in it?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, we did inform the coaches, and we were looking at what is it that they want to develop. So we asked them specifically what they wanted to be developed on, and based on those 2 or 3 things, I did help in the matching. So we didn't ask them specifically which coach do you want, because then you may not have a good spread and you may disappoint people, whereas it's also far more important to know the strength of both the coachee and the coach and try to match that. Yeah.
And were the coaches all admin 1, so all same level, or were they of all levels in the organization?
Yeah, so we have in Philips we apply the Hay methodology. So we have grades 30 up, 30, 40 in factory assistant levels, 50 and up more professional levels. So we looked at grade 60s and 70s, which are typically the bench for your key positions at 80, 90 business management team level. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
How did you select the coaches?
Yeah, so we selected the coaches because they are the BGMT, so our business group management team. Those are the leaders of oral health care, mother and child care, pain relief, leader of marketing, leader of operations. So we said, let's take the natural management team, and we all need to be coaches. So we did that team. we didn't have to choose so much because we just made the choice to go for the MT.
So it was a compulsory, you need to develop your coaching skills to become a great coach.
Yeah.
And we will do it.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to share how you're going to choose the next wave.
Yeah, so of course this is wave 1 of the program that we did this year. So we're now preparing for next year. Next year we want to do the next wave. And there we take indeed the leaders reporting to the BGMT for them to become better coaches and for them to have coaches, etc. across the organization as well. To, as well was said in the video as well, to oil stain it more. But I strongly feel that you need the top leaders to be coaches first, because if you go and start lower down, then yeah, you never know what you're talking about. If you take a higher level.
How would you train your management team to become the coaches?
Yeah. So basically, this is that's the program that we started earlier on in the year. To give you a little bit of a context, we had a start with an introduction for the coaches and for the coachees. And then we really kicked off by splitting the management team into 3 groups of 4, where they had a 4-hour session where we had some pre-reads around, you know, the theories, etc. And we spent the first half hour or so about going through the theories. And what is very, very critical at that start, we really did a lot on peer coaching and really playing with a case. So we had a case, 2 people, you know, sat down in the group, and we had then Julie Johnson or one of her colleagues indeed join and listen in and give feedback and engage. So it was really the peer coaching that happened there and the interventions that then were given to further improve. So that was like a half day. And then we basically sent the MT off to work with their coaches. That was for a period of about 4 months, where they typically had 2 coaching conversations. And then they moved into this module 2, as you see here at the end, where they had another virtual session. Again, coming back together, ideally in the same group, talking about, so what have you learned over the last 4 months? What were your struggles? What were your challenges? And then again, do some more peer coaching and intervention to bring it to the next level. There was also a one-on-one coaching supervision session that was done between each of the MT members and Julie or one of her colleagues to really have a one-on-one engagement as well. And of course, as HR, we kind of weaved into to listen and engage and connect and give feedback, etc. throughout. But that's a standard role. Does that help answer the question? Yeah. Any? Yeah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
What was the feedback of the coaches and how was it being tracked and looked back into?
Yeah. So we had a set of evaluations. We had an evaluation after the intro, and then we had an evaluation in August, and we did another 3rd evaluation last month in October. And we had a consistent set of questions of what they felt about, you know, the coaching program. Did it meet their expectations? What are the areas for improvement? And we kind of collected that, and we looked at that and updated the program, and particularly using that for the next wave of the program. Yeah.
And was that looked back on an individual level with those MT members as well?
No, we did not do that, because the feedback is coming back indeed in an integral form to us. We didn't want to do a one-on-one translation there immediately. Yeah. So we do feedback to the coaches.
The MT score.
Yeah. Well, I can make my own assessment on but
Everybody is as good at coaching.
not everybody is as good, and indeed, you know.
CEO wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you share a bit of the commitment of the leaders throughout the program to committing to sessions and to showing up and to not cancelling? I know that's a challenge throughout, but
Yeah.
how did you manage that?
Yeah, that's always a bit of a challenge. I will say it worked quite nicely, because what happened is that the MT knows they have 2 coaches. Those coaches count on them to be there, to be present, to be a coach, and they saw really the value for themselves engaging, and of course for the employees. So most of the times it went well. Every now and then there was a reschedule, but it didn't lead to, I've not heard from any of the coaches that it was to such extent that it hampered, you know, the progress on the coaching program.
So was it the lesson to keep it small, maybe?
Keep it small in what way?
To only have 2 coaches instead of to start off big.
Yeah, I think that's important, because they have a lot of work to do, and to have a coaching session you typically need at least 1 or 1.5 hours. You need some preparation, you need some time at the end, so to do it well you need 2 hours. Times 2, and then every 2 months, well, you can count the hours. So two coaches is really the right number, I think, because also you have 2 different experiences then. One coachee is from this area, one from the other. It can be very different challenges that you then face as a coach as well to help facilitate their growth. Yeah.
I'm just curious, did you decide to be facilitator or did you participate?
Yeah.
That was a difficult choice.
I decided to be present at certain parts in the module 1 as well as module 2, but oftentimes the start. I went out when it went about peer coaching and doing the practice. Because I don't want to have at the end of the year some type of a feeling that they get evaluated because HR in the room. Yeah.
So you're not one of the 12?
No, actually I am as well, and I get some coaching from Julie. Yeah, I have 2 people. Yeah, I love it. It's really, really great. It's really, really great.
And that's a really good thing. I mean, it's not always easy, but I prefer it that way. So that you become a subject yourself.
Exactly. You need to become, but I couldn't participate in all of the modules because that's a bit of the challenge. So I try to find my way with Julie to also participate. Yeah.
Just one question on the length of the training. You have one-time 4 hours there to really get into the tools of coaching, powerful questioning, and so on. You can also study for a long time and really not theoretically, but really trying also, and you need to practice a lot. How did you manage to have in only 4 hours this whole thing coming across?
Yeah. Well, these are mostly executives, so most of them have like 20 years of experience or more with leading teams, and most of them have done some type of coaching or leadership programs in their past. So they are a bit advanced. They're not totally not knowing what coaching is about. However, they don't know necessarily the models, etc. So they did their pre-reads, but really 3 out of the 4 hours was about the peer coaching and the engagements and the feedbacks. So it's about the practice that I think is most valuable, and that's also what I heard them say back. Oh, I had this nice nudge, and we explore and find the same issues, across ourselves. So we now know more how to work with certain problems. So, yeah, it's managing basically and small groups. So 4 people means that you can maximum 4 people, because if you go much more, then you can't exchange anymore.
I see. It's just the normal coaching training would take you 2 years or something to get there, to have it really more in depth and more really included in your way of behavior. Whereas this, it sounds great, I love it, but I question if it's coaching, or if you can call that then already coaching, because I guess it's more deep listening, for example. That's already a good start, but then to really always have the right question, not the leading questions, not the giving advice again, and your typical behavior and managers in the senior positions have that even more than.
Yeah. Well, that's also the fun where we've heard back indeed after, the second, when they came together again the second time. Some of them indeed find it really, really difficult to not have the leading question, to not go into an advising role. Yeah. Because they are, of course, more senior, right? So they know sometimes the struggle, and they preferably want to give you the answer. Yeah, and that's not coaching. And we really emphasized in module 1 that you should refrain from advising, and this is a better way of asking, or that is a better way of asking. So this is about the practice, whether they really become true coaches as a certified coach. That's absolutely different route. It's a different track, but. Of course, this is about the behaviors and the way questions can be asked, and the fact that you need to not let your inner voice speak all the time. Do I say it right, Julie?
Yeah, I can mention a little bit more about that one with that one slide with teach, mentor, coach.
Yeah,
so
good.
It's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, good. One more question.
One question. So this was wave 1. Are the coaches now continuing the coaching with the 2 coaches?
Yeah. Yeah, they are continuing, and it's driven by the coachee and the coach. So if the coachee at some point says, okay, I've had my good input and I think I can take it from here, we are not wanting to force the continuation. So we'll let that go on in that way. And it's basically the CEO and me really putting it on the agenda with the MT as something important. And there's not a lot of discussion whether or not it's important. Everybody feels it's important. And they really enjoy it because there is this effect as well of how you call reverse mentoring in many ways, because there are some people that, for example, marketers with us, there are a lot of digital marketers. And for the senior leaders, 50 years, etc., then they are like, they don't know all of what's going on in the world necessarily always. So they get to hear and get to feel a lot.
They get more out of it.
Sounds like my podcast.
Yeah.
About social media stuff.
Yeah, exactly. They hear a lot. They hear really, really a lot as well. So there's a lot in it for the coach as well, and to really continue on their practice. And I am looking at for next year how to keep also building on their coaching skills. So I don't want to kind of cut the program now. This is it. It's like also looking for engagements next year with the management team to do some more, coaching check-in moments together with Julie, probably a few times next year.
And is the plan also to focus not only, let's say, on the talents that are on the benches, but on other people as well?
Yeah, great point. We haven't fully figured out yet what will be the next wave of coaches. I have quite some currently still on the bench who wanted to come into the first one. So I think next wave will still be a lot of people where at least managers and management see a level of potential in them to grow in their career. Whether it's horizontal or lateral or whatever direction that is. I mean, that's also growing, and that's important to keep in mind when looking at growth in our company. But probably still quite some of the people on the succession plan. Yeah.
I see this as a retention tool. So if you have senior management being busy with people who have potential, that's an excellent retention tool. You're giving time and attention to those who matter. So,
Yeah, it's a great point. A great point. Yeah, thank you.
So how many people are going through, I mean, you've got 12 participants in wave 1. Are you pushing it down to a certain level of every manager needs to have gone through this and coach people?
Yeah, so the next level we'll do is what we call in senior director level. Again, they are also globally spread, and then they will, coach again probably 2 people. Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking the last question, so we can continue. If that's okay.
I'm coming from a culture where I observe that it's very weaknesses-based leadership, meaning I will coach you so that I can fix you. And you even have companies that use coaching to solve the issues they couldn't solve before, to pay for the courage they don't have to give feedback to underperformance. And I still struggle to make some of my top level people in my company to say don't use coaching to address underperformance issues. You need to work on strength-based leadership. In your culture, in Holland, if I understand, how do you help those top leaders to be really focused on the strength of the people and to support them in their growth and not try to control them and command them?
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean, and I think for us, one thing, of course, we have a very global culture. I mean, my management team, I have an Iranian, I have a UK, I have a Chinese, I have a US, so they come from all over. Of course, there's an influence by Philips being a Dutch company, that's for sure, but I think the background of cultures that we have does show also a variety of looking at coaching. I recognize what you say. I think what is required then, and in cases where I've seen it in my management team, that topic in this way came up, it's far more about, and then having that dialogue with the management team to say, so what's the purpose of this intervention or this program? What is the idea? And also really say, I mean, it goes back to the books of Buckingham, etc., around Strengths Finder. You can rather work on your strengths than try to do a little bit on the development needs. So that's kind of discussion I then have oftentimes with the MT or with the individual, and then really encourage the MT members to, when they do their coaching sessions, indeed really talk about, so what do you want to get out of it, rather than what weakness do you want to work on. So it's also about the positioning of the coach in that very first engagement with the coachee. That needs to be very sharp, and sometimes some teams may need a bit more guidance on that than other teams. So that could be a consideration to really specify clearly. Yeah. Yeah. Not an easy case. So we can talk more about it. Yeah. All right. So maybe really, and I think we talked about it just now. So I'll just glance over the design components that make the difference for this program. Small groups. 3-4 people at most, face-to-face when possible. Of course, we had to do virtuals with China and with the US, but we really saw better outcomes when it was a face-to-face engagement. So that is something interesting to still think about when doing coaching. Not so easy in our global corporations that we have. But of course, you take the natural moments of product introduction meetings or some sort of global gatherings of leadership meetings where that could be done more face-to-face. Having really strong facilitators, obviously, and short modules, regular interventions. Don't do days long; it's too long. Then, yeah. Q&A we just had. You were ahead of me. So the Q&A we can now let that be, and I think I'll give the word for a moment to Julie to talk a little bit about the difference, coaching, mentoring, teaching. Yeah. And then we'll do a little personal and reflection and talking with your neighbor on some of questions we looked at.